Hello, hello everyone. I believe I'm up. You can give me a confirmation. But that was a great run by Garrick. Please make sure to follow him. Follow everybody. It's a great day for Star Ocean runners today and yesterday. But yes. We are here with Star Ocean 1. And this is where it all began. So let me just work with a theater here. Need to get started in just a second. And there's a lot to cover with this game. But yes, this is Star Ocean 1. This is the first game in the series. Alright. And we're off. Alright. Radix. And it's time for a break. Alright. Here we go. So this is Star Ocean 1. Yes, this is the first entry in the series. This is where it all began in '96. We are playing on a English translation patch, and that's just because it's a marathon. We want people to be able to understand what's going on. I can play in Japanese, I can play in English, it doesn't really matter. It's a little easier in English just to read the menus. But, yeah. So, you just saw Star Ocean 1 for the PSP, which is it's a remake, and basically everything about the mechanics and battles are upgraded and taken from the SO2 PSP version. That's what I understand. But this is just its own battle system, its own mechanics, its own damage formulas. It's very much its own beast. Okay? So, with that being said, this run is very strangely balanced. It can go from being very easy, which it is for the first hour or so, you don't really do too much, and then it gets ridiculously hard for the middle part, and then it gets much less hard through the end. You'll know when we get to the tough parts of this run, but there's basically a lot of luxuries that a lot of other RPG runs and some of the other marathon runs here this weekend have to be able to sort of protect yourself, and there's sort of marathon save strats you can do. There's really not any of that. The fastest thing to get through this game is to really just crank through, power up Radix a little bit, but you use items, whether they're flare bombs or stink bombs, to do stun status, and you just sort of hope for the best. So it's got its challenging points, but it's a very it's a very interesting run. You sort of go around and do things in order that probably most people who play this game did not do. Oh yes, this has voice acting. 1996, ahead of its time. So yes, you'll notice that these menus look very much similar to Tales of Fantasia. So after Tales of Fantasia, or rather during Tales of Fantasia, the design team apparently had a lot of creative differences, and a fair amount of them sectored off and created Tri-Ace. And Enix took their team and published their game for the Star Ocean 1. Alright, so if you're familiar with Star Ocean series, you know that talents are part of the game. There is a 10% chance I have a skill called Sixth Sense, and if I do, I have to basically load a save, because I need to not have that ability so that I can gain skill points. So I'm going to check it out at the beginning. If I have it, then I'll load a save once I get to that point, otherwise we're just going to keep going. I've yet to have a run where I had to reset over it. I've also not done a ton of these runs, but I do need to check. So we're gonna get started here. We see Millie, who's a lot less pink-haired than her PSP counterpart. And Radix has very tame blue hair. Yeah, let's take a look. We have 6 cents, boys, so you know what that means? We're loading the safety save. But I'm gonna play the game as if I, I'm gonna get to that save point, and then I'll reset. It's basically after this first set of cutscenes, just to keep it consistent. But of course it would happen during the marathon. That's great. But yeah, in the beginning you fight off some thieves, so... yeah. I have another safety save for way later in the game in case Millie doesn't give me an item that I need, but we're not going to worry about that for quite a while. So yes, the reason I need 6 cents to not be on my Radix is because people who are familiar with Star Ocean probably know that you can learn abilities if you don't have them and you try to level up certain skills. And when you learn a talent, you'll get an SP bonus. So I want to learn that talent so I get the SP bonus. But if I already have the talent, then I'm not going to get the bonus. So. Anyways. So, yes, just to be clear, this is an English fan translation. This is not the official version. It is, for all intents and purposes, the same, but it's just in English. There is one bad side effect, which is if I try to kill a boss off-screen, it can soft-lock the game, so I'm going to try not to do that. But I figured for a marathon it'd be a lot more enjoyable to watch this in English, so... I'm going to use Dorn here in a second to throw a bomb once he clears. There we go. Alright, cool. We got a few more cutscenes. We're going to be loading a save after we leave town for the first time, which is the first time we can save. And I'll show you what it looks like. What's interesting is that you'll notice that a lot of the character names are different than what they are in the PSP version. Which is fair, because sometimes when official translators come on board, they, you know, do their own thing and translate names. However, at the credits of this game, all of the character names are listed in English. So that is exactly what the... And like in the original version of the game. In the Japanese version of the game, the credits have English counterpart names for all of the characters that you can get. So that is what the fan translation uses. So in some ways it is sort of the official version. It's just the original official version. Show us a happy face tomorrow. See, that is the direct translation. But yeah, throughout this run, you're going to be seeing ample use of bombs, mostly stink bombs, which sound ridiculous, but they inflict stun status, and every boss in the, at least in the speedrun, can be hit by stun, and it is the reason why you can beat this game in a speedrun setting. So we're getting scolded by mom, we're late for work. It's typical protagonist blues. Regular village life just isn't enough for me, man. Pick up a talisman here, some extra cash. Pretty sure Garrick picked that up too. And then we're gonna go to work and get scolded by Millie, who's pissed off. Happy face. Yes. How's everyone doing today? Have you been enjoying the Star Ocean Marathon? There are some titles that I'm not so familiar with in the Star Ocean series, so it's been fun to watch them. But I'm very happy to have this run. Me personally, I learned this game as one of the first games I ever learned for a potential RPG to run. That was like in 2013, but I never put a run together because I knew how ridiculous this game could be. And once I heard about the Tri-Ace Marathon, I was like, alright, you know, I think it's time I dusted off the cobwebs, put together a run, and do it for the marathon. So, here we are. I've done a few runs, so I have completed this, but yeah, you'll see. So the story is town of Cool is getting stoned. Millie's dad went to go help him out. Now we're just hanging out, not being stoned. Okay. Yeah, I can submit my times, sure. I have a pretty decent set of notes to accompany it, too. My times are just not super great, because I'm not going to be grinding out good times in this game, because getting optimal times to compete with Japanese runs is pretty ridiculous. There's some aspects about this game that separate good times from okay times, and I have okay times, not great times. But some of it's just like straight ridiculousness. Take a look at the river. Very odd. And that's not a patch problem. That's in the original version too. Cool is done for. Alright, so we're about to load our safety save. I'm gonna save my game just in case something went haywire, but we have to safety save. For this particular reason, just to show you. Okay. Here's Dorn. And Cool, so I'm gonna save and slot here. Reset. We're gonna take the first. Okay, so all we're doing is changing the fact that our friend Radix does not have Sixth Sense. Okay, that's the only thing that changed. Everything else is the exact same. So, just for your awareness. But yes, that is very important, and yeah, I mean, basically you couldn't do the run because there's certain encounters. I mean, you'll see when we get there, but there's certain encounters that you would get owned by that we're not going to get owned by because we're not going to fight them. It is most definitely faster to play in Japanese. I haven't had any crashing problems, with the exception of some bosses if you try to kill them off screen, which is just something I'm aware of and we're gonna combat. But it's nothing to worry about. Plus, they made I'm playing on a ST2 SNES, so they were able to create a patch that worked with flashcards, which is nice. Usually you run away from bunnies, but there's only one of them. It's not a problem. Alright, we need to pick up a necklace fairly soon. A ruby. But yeah, I think this game is great. I think it's one of the more beautiful SNES games out there. Soundtrack, pretty good. Big fan. So yeah, you find out more about how Millie and her dad, they're not getting along. This game has its bugs for sure. There's a lot of subtle bugs about the game, like, here's a good example. Later we get an ability called Scout, right? So you can have level 1 through 10 in Scout, and Scout allows you to influence the encounter rate. You can either boost the encounter rate or lower it. So say you're level 1, on your skills, and you set your scout to be like dodge encounters, and then you level up your skill all the way to 10, the game, even though you're at level 10, the game, because you didn't manually set from regular encounter rate to lesser encounter rate, if you didn't set it when you had 10 skill instead of 1, the game will just keep treating it as if you only had 1 skill. So you have to go back into the menu and manually set it after you get 10 skill. Which sounds... It sounds kind of obvious, but if you weren't thinking about it, you'd be like, oh, you know, I boosted my level, it should be reflected. It's the equivalent of like attack or equipping a good weapon and then leveling up a whole bunch and then having to re-equip that weapon to get an attack boost. So there's a fair amount of weird stuff like that. I'll point them out as they come up. Encounters are kind of weird in this game too. Yeah, also another reason why I wouldn't seriously actively run this game is that there's like a 40-minute intro. So there's a lot of lore that happens in the beginning, but not much else. Not much else. The game really starts once you get into the past. So yeah, Dorn is inflicted by the stone status because he must have been hanging out with somebody. And cool. So we're gonna take them out of the party. We're gonna level up Radix a little bit. Oh, I also need to put Rift Wave on. Rift Wave is the first ability you learn in the game, and we're gonna use it throughout the entirety of the game. It's pretty good. We're not gonna fight stuff here, but we are gonna fight stuff in Mount Matox. Alright. We get through cool. Not much is going on in here. Now everybody's stoned. This is Bad Kid's neighborhood. Alright, walking through. I'm gonna save before I get into Mount Matox because Fellworms can kill you. Not likely, but they can. I will fight this because I didn't get many encounters, and there are some encounters I do want to fight, so I do need to get some levels, so. Alright, cool. Funny Thief, yeah. He's the guy, man. Watch out for him. You'll also notice that we don't have the dash ability yet. And we're gonna get that once we get into the past. I'm not there yet. Alright, here we go. Fellworms. We're gonna fight stuff here, but usually the first fight you get into is the 2 times Fellworm fight. This should give us a few levels. Should be right now. Or should give us like a level. So yeah, you can die to this fight. You'll also notice that the top one reacts to the bottom one getting hit. They're just one true pair. It's very weird, but yeah, these guys can hit you for about 70 to 80 a pop, and if they hit you with stun, there's a good chance you'll die. That one pretty good. 2 levels. Nice. Alright, so that's 1 down. There's another one coming up. Again, they're not, like, scary, it's just you do have the possibility to die. Which I guess makes it somewhat scary. Anyways, yeah, we just need solo Radix for a while. we do want to get levels on Millie later, but it's not in your best interest to now. This is the type of battle we can do quickly. We will. You'll notice, so I guess I'll talk about this battle system. It's... The way I think about it is that it very much plays like Final Fantasy XI. And that you put in character commands and they go and do the stuff, and you can select characters and you can stop time. I'll fight this solo fell one. But yeah, I have the ability to sort of stop time at any point and command people to do stuff. So as we get into the tougher fights, I'm going to be doing a lot of micromanaging in the fights, especially with item usage. Alright, we'll take another save here. You can't save everywhere, but you can save in a fair amount of places. Look at the way the top one just like jiggles. It's so good. Alright, this one's fine. Alright, good, good. Yeah, so there's no item creation in this route. We do a little bit of spell learning. We do some encounter evasion by opening and closing the menu, which we see in about 40 minutes from now, and then we'll see in about 2.5 to 3 hours from now. So, but yeah, no item creation. Mild skill learning. This game is really, I mean, it is a optimized JRPG. What you may see on this stream today may not be an optimized run, but the route itself is quite optimized. And what that means is that it's basically just like the bare minimum that you need to get through the game. So there's no luxuries, there's no like fancy safety stuff that happens. It's really just you get by with what you need. And you'll see that in the middle stretch of this game where there's a high amount of variability, but we got a little while before that. So we're in the cutscenes. Ronixis and Ilia have shown up. They just warped in, and Radix and his party are just sort of confused. Who are these people? Why aren't you stoned? Also, we never find out about that herb. If it was actually anything useful. They just like never talk about it again. So yeah, the story, I mean, if you weren't here for the previous run, the story is that your planet is being hit by a weapon that turns people to stone so that their bodies can be harvested to make a weapon. So you went to go try to save a town by collecting this herb, but then you get interrupted by these two, and they tell you that something bigger is at play. So you're going to go along with them to their starship, and then you're going to see some cutscenes, figure out more information, and eventually join them. It's kind of weird, like, you play as Radix, and he is the main character, but in some ways it's like Ronixis' mission, and you're both the main character. You sort of get kind of dragged because your planet is doomed anyways. It's gonna help them out. Alright. So now we're aboard the Calnus, a classic Star Ocean. Classic Star Ocean vessel. You're a god. What a god. Yeah, you're looking for ways to cure Dorn, who is struggle busting it right now. But Radix is most impressed by the elevator here. Yeah, we got a bunch more cutscenes. We're gonna fight 2 sets of Feltworms. Again, can possibly die, but unlikely. Also, I'll have Millie in my party, so she can heal or revive. I got 1 resurrect potion. Haha. Ronix just tells Iria to suck it up. Alright. So what you do, you're given recess time. So you're supposed to go explore the ship. All you have to do is go to the bottom of the ship, and then the game will progress. Tri-face. You know what's a shame about the Tri-face? Is that nowhere on the planet, on our planet, on IRL Earth, can you find a high quality, high resolution Tri-Ace image. It just doesn't exist. The doctor, no way. The doctor just want another word from us. Don't be impatient. You show your mouth, Millie. But yeah, check out the doctor's outfit. It's got like a nice little sideways bow tie bow in the back. Thought the music was glitched. What? This music owns. Anyways. Plan is that doesn't matter if you don't understand. That's the plan. Basically, our friend Dorn here is going to be turned to stone. And there's not much we can do about it for now. But hopefully we'll come back later and figure it out. Alright, so we got some Feltworms. You get this experience in short bursts before we get into the past the glorious run speed in this game, especially on the elevator. Alright, so yeah, I mean, this could be a slightly scary fight. Unfortunately, we can't do any safety saves before, but we'll just see how it goes. Luckily, as I said, I do have Millie in my party, so she can throw a blueberry. She doesn't have her heal spell yet, or she can throw a resurrect potion, which would be really bad if I were to die. Let's find out. But yeah, you can see the top one, when it reacts to the bottom one getting hit, it also just cancels its like attack Q, so works out in your favor. Alright, one down, another set. The only thing that can go badly is if your attack misses, or it clinks, doesn't do anything, and then he gets a counterattack right away, which can happen, but we're looking pretty good actually. I need to attack this one to stop him from hitting Millie, and luckily Millie ran out of the way, which is good. Alright. Good boys. Great logo. I agree. Thank you, Shikuku. Alright, so Radix turns around, counters this last one, and you find out that the people that are not from Roke can't see the dead Felworm. But we can. I'm not sure the rest of the game explains this, but Iryu doesn't seem to care. Yeah, the tail is pretty good when the heart comes out of it after your battle. Okay. Check out that doctor. Look at that medical abdomen. He's ready for business. Alright, I can't even say that we're almost done with the, the set of cutscenes in the beginning. We have to go drop off Dorn, and then we have to go to an arbitration with the Federation. Look at him, dude. Apparently, the doctor is also a mad scientist. Ordinary life was boring. Woe is me. If I were stronger. If Radix liked me a little bit more. Alright, we're off to the bridge. Oh yeah, we're a fell pool, so we got a tail. Whoops. Iria and Ronixis are not fell pool, because they're from Earth, and therefore they have no tail. Alright, so we're getting a interception by Rizonia here. Apparently. Oh no, not yet. So Dorn is getting worse. We're gonna go drop him off. So yeah, I'll sort of reiterate it throughout the run, but it's fairly easy in the beginning. You don't do too much. I need to open and close the menu in a certain dungeon in Mount Matox to get a overpowered weapon and shield, which will help me take out the Velkant pirates. So I have to open and close the menu for like 4 minutes. 3 to 4 minutes or so. And then after that, the game's easy for about like 30 minutes, and then it takes a very sharp, dark, 60 miles per hour, 180-degree turn, and gets very, very challenging for a while, but we got a while before that. Luckily, you can save before all of the troublesome bosses in this game, so at least we've got that going for us. Yeah. Say bye to Dorn. Not gonna see him anymore. Music box. I wonder what Iria is wearing. Looks like a army jacket. She gets her red attire later. Well, it's sort of red. Alright, so he's stoned. I apologize if you have blinking sensitivity, but yes, they go full flash on you. Alright. Now we're gonna get intercepted. It looks almost like a star ocean, doesn't it? Same thing. We can see something, but apparently the Earth cannot. Space distortion. Alright, here we go. We're going to court. We're going to court, and the plaintiffs and the defendant here are chefs. They can make you a mean tort. Regular Chef Boyardee over here. And they have the power to blow up planets, dude. So the real story is that Rizonia is supposedly responsible for doing the viral, or having the viral weapon. But really, there's a shadow organization working under them. And because they don't know anything about how the weapon was made, or how to cure it, they're abandoning all hope. So, Renixis and his crew are all upset. You gonna do something about it? And naturally, when you get mad, you want to do something about it, you have to go 300 years into the past to figure out the answer. So that's what's going down. But first, we're gonna take a break at the cafe. Waitress stole Millie's haircut. Iria is asleep. It's not good enough, Iria. It's not impossible. Planet, stream. Stream. Twitch. We're going to Twitch Planet, boys. I never noticed that. Planet stream. Twitch headquarters. Watch out. We're going 300 years into the past to find out Twitch's origins. Alright, before you do anything, you have to unequip Renixis and Iria here. It's less important with this particular route, but it's still something I want to do, so. So in this game, it's generally faster to just scroll, because if you try to go one by one, the menu sort of tries to load whatever's in the slot, even if nothing's there, so. But if you hold down to scroll a certain set of iterations, you bypass the loading lag. So you'll see me do that when I try to menu. Alright, we're almost in the past, and that's where the game really begins. So yeah, the brilliant plan for the planet stream is to go to the time gate, which is apparently off limits, but we're doing it anyways. Forced labor for the rest of our lives. But not us. We're gonna make it through. What is Planet Stream? Time Gate. Does Planet Stream show up in any other Star Ocean game? Or is it just Star Ocean 1? Unique story aspect. Full of monsters? Yes, full of stream monsters. Watch out for them, they'll get you. Alright, time gate. This is the only time we come here. Well, I guess it's the only time that we are shown what it looks like. Technically, we come back and forth here twice. Alright, Guardian of Time heeds our plea. Proves we're justified. Alright, Ronixus. So, as you go in, our friend Iria trips, and then we get separated from the other two. So, here we are. We're in the past. We're doing it live. Now the game begins. So now that we're in the past, our goal is to figure out how to get the cure and why the cure and the weapon itself came from the past. You don't really know much now, but you're on a beach. That's all you know. You're on a beach and you got Iria, so we're gonna go find our way around. Pretty soon. Whoops. This is where the game sort of begins. We're gonna get the dash ability soon so that we don't go at a snail's pace. Alright, this is very important. You need to not mess this up. This is the one private action influence thing that you need to do. You say it's none of your business. It lowers your private action meter with Iria just enough so that melee is default higher. That's the only time we have to do in the game to worry about private action meters. Hello? So that's gonna set us up for something in about an hour and a half from now. I love how the shadows go away when some menus pop up. It's great. Alright, boys. Take a wild guess. Boys and girls, take a wild guess what is in this chest. That's right, it's the 420. This is the run. Iria got some clothes. I do have a safety save for way later in the rare event that the private action meter gets messed up. Because if that happens, you don't get 2 times charm Or 2 times amulet. It's called charm in this translation. And if that happens, your run is pretty much over, so we're at least protected against that. Alright, so we're walking to... what is the village called Hot, which is cool in the future, but it's hot now. And we're gonna get the dash ability. We're gonna see our temporary friend Succubus. You can see him here, he's kind of mad. Look at him. Ain't nobody that stupid. Halt. Alright. So we're here in Halt. We're gonna talk to this guy, tell him Portmas is to the north. He's gonna give us a spell potion because we didn't lie to him when we go see him later. And here we go. Now we have Dash, the glorious run speed that is Star Ocean 1. This is some of the best movement in a SNES JRPG, in my opinion. It's really fluid. Move very fast. It's great. So yeah, you just need to level up Dash once. That's good enough. So you tried to take a job, you couldn't get the job because you didn't have swords. You go to the sword shop, and then this guy goes up, stalking you. And then he tries to beat you up. He calls us a bunch of idiots. Then he shows off his sword to us. Sure is a spirited person. Alright, so we're gonna go back. No, we don't have a sword. We're gonna go try to take this. Apparently, this guy accepted the quest. Weak. Dang. Yeah, I don't understand how you can make an RPG with slow movement speed. It just seems like such an obvious thing. But yeah, it feels very good in this. Silverstone. Okay, so we are going to unequip our friend here. Sadly, we're not going to be using him at all. Radix, I think, gets his boots. Which isn't very helpful, but we take the money we can get in the early game. Alright, I'm just warning you. We're about to do a lot of opening and closing in the menu for a few minutes. And basically what's going to happen is that I need to get through a part of a game where I'm not supposed to be at to get some gear that's very, very good. So I'm going to save and reset and then set up a seed so that I know how long it's going to take me to get into an encounter. And then I'm going to be opening and closing the menu of which every time you open and close the menu, you're given a small grace period. I can fight some of these early battles. I don't need to fight too many of them. If I see the bunnies, I'm gonna run away. Nice drop. I can actually sell that for some cash. Alright, here we go. Here we go. So just grit your teeth. We're just gonna get through this. So what you do is you set it up. If you go to the save menu 3 times, you can set the RNG in such a way that you don't get into an encounter for a little while. But the way it works is that I need to do this. And I'm not increasing the encounter value while I'm doing this, so I'm gonna be fairly quiet through this because I do need to focus. If you let the menu sit too long, I'm sorry, if you're standing on the dungeon for too long, I can trigger a battle even just by standing. And if I walk too far, then I do trigger the encounter rate, or the encounter threat to change and get closer to getting into a fight, so I have to be quite careful. So, let's just get through this. So we're getting a sword first, which is a very good weapon. We're gonna pick up a shield as well. We're gonna come back here way later to get some other stuff, but that's when we influence the encounter rate to be 0. It's only two things we have to get on this screen, and then we go out. But yeah, like I said, if you blow it, if you go too far on any of these steps, you'll likely get into a fight, so just gotta be careful. So now we're on our way out. Two more screens. One more. Home free. Alright. We have to do a very minor version of that way later in the game, but no more of that. And now you get to see the raw power of the Dwarven Sword. Check it out. Anyways, we're free, we don't really have to do that. At the very last dungeon, we have to do some of that. But we're not going to be doing that for the rest of the remainder of the game, except the last dungeon. But we did it. We did it. And even though that does take a little while, it's absolutely worth it, because trying to fight the Velkin boss at a low level with just flare bombs is awful. It's a very, very, very slow and extremely dangerous fight. The fastest time out there by a fantastic runner named Chi Na, Japanese runner. Uses the same route that I'm using. Rather, I'm using his route. I had no hand in... I got stunned. Get out of here. That is correct, actually. And, I did not know about that. Canceling the step on the same time as, exiting. But I found it independently, and I found out that the task did it afterwards. But yes, we're gonna be doing that in the final dungeon. And I've routed, the final dungeon in such a way that there will be certain encounters that we have to do that for which we have to do that. We'll be entering screen transition on the same frame window as a fight. You'll see the game visibly lag when that happens. And that's how you know you got it. And you can see that throughout the game, and that's why the fastest time in this game is so crazy, because it's basically Chi Na threw himself at this game, and we just play over and over and over. And in his best run, he gets in the final dungeon just by pure chance, because there's no way of knowing unless you save and reset from a certain set point. Just by pure chance, he got 3 encounters canceled that way, which is ridiculous. It'll make more sense when you see it, but yeah, it's just absurd that in his best run, he just sort of like happened to get 3 encounters canceled. And even one encounter in the final dungeon can end your run, so to have 3 of them just wiped away is insane. Anyways, we won't be seeing any of that here. Any unpredicted... Well, I shouldn't say none, but it's unlikely. Anyways, for the first part of this game, I am trying to get some levels. You can run away from these fights, but I do want to get to level 12 after the Velkin boss, so generally you fight stuff along the way. If I got into a ton of encounters, then I might decide not to. I can run from this, because the experience is pretty bad. Get some more full. Right this. So yeah, we're supposed to be running this errand for the guy back in Hot. But really, we just needed the pass so that we can actually make it to Portmas. And we're almost there. I'll fight this. If they all stick together, I can use Rift Wave against them, but they run away. Not worth it. Alright, so we are in Portmas. We're gonna speak to this guy who we helped out earlier. Gonna hook us up with a spell potion. We're gonna sell a whole bunch of stuff here. I think I got 2 no, I got something else. Oh, I got the steak though, that's technically a rare drop. One sad thing about the English patch is that the menus are a little bit slower, especially in equipment. In battle, they're pretty much the same, but when you try to do equipment, I'm sorry, like inventory or any shopping, it's a little bit slower. Alright, so we did some shopping, we dropped that quest off, and we're gonna come down here. We're gonna purchase the 3rd skill here. Sense level 2 is gonna allow us to learn Scout later, but for now, we are off to the Velkant boss lair. And this is the reason that we went into that cave for the Dwarven Sword, so we can take out this guy. So yeah, we come here, and Seus has a fit, just like in the PSP version. And we say goodbye to him, never to see him again. He wasn't very great, just didn't live up to our standards. Then we're out of here. And we're gonna go take out the pirates. And I'm on a boat. So we're gonna take this dinky little boat and go take down a gang of pirates so that we can cross the waters and get to the next continent. Classic JRPG plot. So you need the dash ability to actually progress this, because you cannot break these down if you don't have it. So we find out about the gas. Here. Switch. It's not exactly what I want to do, but I will do it. I need to take Iria out just in case I get into a fight along the way. Then I have to put her back in for the fight so that she gets experience. Just like this. I don't want to have her in this fight because I don't want her to die. I don't have means of reviving her right now. If she dies, it's not the end of the world. It's just I want to have her get some XP. She's not a critical character in this, but she does have her uses, and I do want her to get some levels. So free fight. Put her back. Then we're gonna set Blaze Sword. HP is looking good. I'm gonna go fight. So this is a mini boss. So this is Velkant underling, I guess. So she's going to throw some flare bombs. Good. So you have to wait a set amount of time before throwing multiple items. That missed, but it's fine. I can have her throw a few from here, but it's not the end of the world. Alright. So I mentioned this before, but the game will soft lock if certain enemies who have those big explosion animations at the end of their lifespan. That was a really weird way of saying it. When they die, if they're the last enemy to die and they're a boss-like enemy, they will cause a soft lock. So we're gonna try to evade that. We're gonna put the Flintstone on you. We are the Flintstones. I have to be careful here. If you get too close, you will take a lot of damage. can still get into fights here, so I moved Iria out of the party. Now again, she can die in this boss fight too. Ideally she doesn't, but... The Dwarven Guard is just really good. We'll use it for the rest of the game. Very much boosts your evade and your defense. Okay, so we'll put her back in the party. Heal Radix. Blueberry. The sorting system in this is kind of unfortunate. You can sort, but it's not consistent. It just moves things in groups. Hello? Hello? Okay. So, kind of similar strategy. This boss is a little scarier. Could die, but it's pretty unlikely. He's also very mad. He's gonna attack Iria, so I'm trying to... Oh, he changed. Okay, cool. Very good. So as you get into the more complicated fights, there's actually a fair amount of micromanaging that occurs. So I had to go to the left side just to make sure that he wouldn't go to the left and soft lock. And that's the Velcro boss. Run's been pretty solid so far. Looking good. Now, if you're a fan of cat girls, sadly we won't be getting Heresy in our party, but she does make a brief appearance. I guess technically, Millie is a cat girl. But this girl is the real cat girl. So yeah, she's not a fan of you. Kind of a fan of Iria. To at least go with Iria. She's not like Radix at all. Oh, alright. Let's go. So yeah, the Flintstone allows you to detonate gas. I am not sure you use it ever again, but you use it in that dungeon. Like, I'm pretty sure that's it. We don't use it ever again, but it's still on our character until we swap it off. I have no reason to take it off now. But... Alright, so we're out of here. We are off to Otanim. Otanim. And we're leaving right away. We'll be going back and forth to these towns quite a bit. Oh, shoot. I forgot to do this. It's not a problem. I'm just an idiot. I totally forgot this is where I'm supposed to be. I took it out of my notes, which is dumb, but alright. Anyways. We are going to, because we're level 12, I'm going to learn Danger Sense. I'm going to get up to level 8. And then we play the fun game of setting your ability on and off. And we're gonna do this. So if this game, or if this run doesn't have item creation and it has this, we only have to do this once. Basically, I have to do this until I learn the Sixth Sense ability. I'm not gonna lie, I was mildly scared there that I was gonna die. Then I forgot. So basically, the old route of this game, before they figured out how to skip encounters the way that we did in that cave, was that you would have to fight the Velkin boss without the good gear, which means that you would go and fight him with a bunch of flare bombs, which is really horrible. And if that were the case and I went into that slime fight, I may have died, because your gear is much worse. Anyways, we just need to do this a lot. It is random. It is tied to just like an RNG value that changes every time you do this. I do not know the odds. I have not ran the odds on it. Alright, so we got it. That was probably about 100 or so. So, come back here. Danger sense up to 10, which means that, unlike the PSP version, we will be able to evade encounters in most areas. So I just straight up won't get into encounters throughout here. As we get into later dungeons, that's certainly not true. It helps the encounter rate, but we'll still have random encounters. But for a lot of these overworld, well, for actually everywhere in the overworld from now on, I will not get into any fights. It's pretty cool. Alright, so we're in Tataroy, getting blocked by children. Check out the text here. Ready? See that green shift? I don't know the percent chance. It's usually between... I think the lowest I've seen it was like 40 on-offs, and the highest I've seen it was like 150. Counted, because I did a little bit of testing to see what kind of randomness it was associated with. And basically, if you hard reset the console and you start doing it, it'll be consistent, which means that it's tied to the same randomness that other things in the game are tied to. But there may exist a setup out there in which it may save you time to save and reset, do a few things to influence RNG, and then do that, but I'm not exactly sure. So yes, you see a cutscene with Fear. If you are curious, we get Marvel in our party, and that's the only character we get, besides the 4 main characters. Marvel comes at level 20 with pretty decent gear, and she's generally actually quite strong. But sadly, Fear is not gonna happen. There's 12 characters in this game. I'm not sure it's the same in the remake. Alright, so we're off to Trop. And in Trop... So basically at this point in the game you do a lot of running around, but it is, as you can see, very fluid to listen to this great overworld music. And we won't be getting into random fights, which is great. It's very funny how different the overworld kind of lays itself out in the Super Nintendo or Super Famicom version versus PlayStation Portable. Alright, so you come here and then you get to check out this starship crash, which is in the future. When you started the game, it's there, but nobody really questions it. But this is the point in time in which it makes contact. Oh yeah, I was taking a look at the list of characters in that. I think it's Radix, Renixis, and Marvel. Maybe Iria as well. Alright, so you decide not to go with her. Well, she still goes with you, but you don't go immediately back. Which is kind of weird. I'm not exactly sure what the game wants you to do. I think they want you to turn around, but it's odd because basically I'm taking a ship directly to there anyways. Just you don't tell her yes. I think it's more like a... That actually may be a PA value that you sort of disagree with her. Anyways. So we go back to Portmas. we need to talk to the blue-haired kid. Because he hooked us up with St. Elmo. We got St. Elmo. Tickle me this. St. Elmo is a accessory that is available after you beat Falcon Pirates. And it allows you to absorb ice damage. And there's specifically one dungeon where the Succubus hangs out, that there are enemies that use ice moves on you, and by having that, you absorb instead of taking full damage, which is a huge reason why you're able to get through that dungeon. Alright, so we're going back through Mount Matox. We're gonna go back into that cave that we went into before. Now that we have the adjusted encounter rate, even though that dungeon has very scary encounters, the game is sort of set at the same encounter level as what Mount Matox is, which is a very low level. So, luckily, we can just walk in there. I'm gonna safety save just in case something happens, but it should be fine. Even with the good gear that we got, we're still 100% outclassed by the stuff that's in here. So we're gonna come down here, we're gonna get a Cinderella vial. And you saw this in the PSP run too, but while you're in a shop and you've used it, you get a 25% discount on everything in there. Okay, so we got Dwarven Guard, a helmet, which is good for Radix. We got another Dwarven Guard, which is what we're gonna sell, 25k, which is huge. And we got a Rainbow Diamond earlier. Shoot, get an Emerald Ring, which is gonna cut our MP consumption by a third, which is gonna be very nice. And then that's it. So yeah, between the Rainbow Diamond and the Dwarven Guard that I got, you can sell them for 55,000. It's very odd that the game allows you to do that. The Dwarven Guard, I understand that you're not supposed to be in there. It's sort of an abuse to get that. But the game just gives you Rainbow Diamond. Like, why wouldn't you sell that for 30,000? I guess it sort of falls into the trap that a lot of people do, which is like, oh, I got this rare item. It's worth a lot, but I'm never gonna sell it. And then you get to the end game and you never use your Mega Elixirs. It's a bad feel. Extra descriptor. I'm not sure this is what you're talking about, but the tagline for this game, even though it's commonly referred to as just Star Ocean, the official tagline, that you see in Japanese is Star Ocean, Fantastic Space Odyssey. Fantastic Space Odyssey. How poetic. How beautiful is that? I'm playing a Fantastic Space Odyssey right now. You're watching a Fantastic Space Odyssey. It's great. Great. Alright, anyways, we're going all the way back to Portmas. We gotta go through Mount Matox one last time. I believe this is our 4th time here. But no more. I really enjoy this part of the game. It's very low-key. We're about to enter the very not low-key part of the game, so I take this in stride. We're actually very close to fighting Peritton. It's nobody's favorite boss. But yeah, you get to do a lot of running around, no encounters. For the beautiful artwork of this game. It's really great. It's just unparalleled. Oops. We already got St. Elmo. We're going to Otanin. Alright. This is the Van continent. We see our girl Millie fairly soon. We have to go back to... Oh, this is not the Van continent, sorry. We're going to the Van continent. Skip this town. Go straight to Prop Champ. And once we get into the Van Continent, that's where the game takes a very dark turn. We have two back-to-back bosses, which are horrible. So the first fight is Peritton, which is a mythological stag and bird chimera. It looks like a dingus in this game, and he is awful. He is awful, and his minions are really bad too. And then we get to fight Succubus. And Succubus's minions aren't bad, but Succubus is the worst enemy in this speedrun. Without any doubt. So, yeah. And that's coming up very soon. Once we get to Vaughn, we're in there. Alright, we're going to Ekdar. Ekdato. We get to see this very long-winded walking cutscene with Millie, in which you just watch her walk by and not talk to her. Though you know it's her. You get to watch her hang out. It's great. Look at this. I'm still watching. And now we get excited. 15 seconds later. Yeah, we just go talk to her. Apparently Ronixus just straight up ditched her and went with some other woman. And Iria gets mad. Stop. Oh yes, it's coming. In practice yesterday, Peritton was going way worse. So, yeah. Luckily you can save before both bosses, but I'm telling you now, when I was talking a little bit before about how the game goes from being fairly easy and straightforward to very hard. We're just about at the very hard part, so we got two bosses to take down, and if we can get by them, we can take down anything. But we're gonna do our best. Yes, the estimate is 4 hours, and a lot of that continges on these next two bosses. So we'll see. So Iria is hanging out in the bushes. We got a Franker Z hanging out. Okay. Once we enter Van, this is where things get real. I will do my best to not curse. It'll be fun. It may take us a few tries, but we're gonna get through it. Together. Alright, so you see Marvel here. And the Crimson Shield tells her to back off. You see Ronixus, and then Iria gets all upset. Are you okay? Who are you? You certainly have become popular with elites. Oh, that's alright, you get like a little bit of a break. So naturally, it's time to have a drink in the middle of the day. Alright, so we need to specifically... Men don't worry about the... Millie gets a strawberry milkshake. I get pineapple soda. Millie gets drugged. Luckily, I do not. So Asmodeus, king of the demon world, and he apparently is the key to all of our problems. And he's also the source of all of our problems. So yes, Iria is known for being a heavy drinker, for which I believe Ashley tries to keep up with her. I guess Radix takes a sip. Millie gets mad that her strawberry milkshake is not... apparently mangoes are alcoholic. Anyways, after we hang out, even though we're on our way to fight the Demon Lord, we're just hanging out. Apparently these two are out cold. Iria, you're gonna catch a cold lying on the floor there, and then he just leaves her there. Millie did drink, see? It's wasted. Marvel is straight edge, so she has none of this. Or what makes us go after her. We'll talk to Millie real quick. Millie, are you okay? Knock it off, Radix. Blush. Alright. And you come out here and you see that Marvel is sulking in a box. Weird. Awkward encounter. So her brother is Joshua, or Yoshua. I don't know how you say it in the remake. Ioshua. It's Joshua in this. So we are gonna stop her. Because we actually do want Marvel in our party. She's a very good character. Now, if you had more than 5 characters, you would not be able to have solo Radix, because you have 8 possible party slots. And you can only move 4 people out into the passive slots. So if you have more than 5, you have to have 2 in your party. Which splits EXP, therefore we only want to have... We want to have the ability to level up Radix solo, so... We can take up to 5 characters, which really means that we can take 1 optional. So we take Marvel. Mostly because Marvel comes at level 20 with pretty good gear, and her attack orbs are quite good all the way through the final boss. A lot of enemies in this game sort of get their hit animation reset if they get hit with an attack. Not necessarily stun, but just attack. And Marvel has really good zoning capability. Alright boys and girls, it's where the run gets very real, very fast. While I get very lost very fast. Here we are. We're off to Vaughn. When we get to Vaughn, we gotta go under a trial so that we can prove to the king that we actually do want to take out the Demon Lord. So we have to fight his pet stag bird. So we're gonna go to the shop real quick. We get this Chinese boots. Wait a second. Yes, I have to make a detour after this. Whoops, not here, but I have to go pick up stink bombs, which is fine. I have to do some more running around before we get there. But once we get the stink bombs, then we're pretty much good to go. Gonna sell this, sell this. Here. Need a lot of blackberries. Resurrect, and yeah. So we have a little bit of running around, but this is sort of the turning point. Technically, I should have done this before, but... it's not too much to backtrack. The problem is certain shops sort of change throughout the run. Oh, I'm not supposed to go to Ionis. Oops. We'll go back to Ectot. I was supposed to run here after, I went to Ionis during all that Marble cutscene. I need to check this shop. I may have to run all the way back to, Portness. Not Portness. Nope, we're good. Yeah, some of these shops do change, but... good enough. We'll head back. And then we're gonna go back to Vaughn. It's kind of weird that they don't sell sort of standardized item sets and grow upon them. Oops. During the game. They sort of just like shift around. And I can't buy any stink bombs on this continent until Silver Ant, which is at the end. It's the last area, and I can't get there now, so. Anyways, we're going back to Vaughn. And I gotta do some menuing, and then we're gonna go take on Peritton. Is everybody's favorite. So set this to everything. Just a byproduct of the translation patch, unfortunately. Some of the menus are just kind of slow. So, Millie gets this. Somebody outside is not happy about Millie getting that. And then... marble mechanics. Oops. I'll keep them all on this for now. Oops. I need to change Nexus 2. Yes. And then... where's Iria? Oh. Alright. That should do it. Gotta save. And we're off to Peritton. Now, here's what's happening. The labyrinth itself is pretty simple. The boss is very, very not simple. And actually, some of the encounters in this area are quite dangerous. But we bought a whole bunch of safety gear. We got stink bombs, which is what we're going to use against the boss. I'm going to make a separate save file just in case something sour goes down in here. Well, actually, it doesn't really matter. I can still get out of this dungeon, but I'll make it a separate save file. The thing is, you can get into some of the fights down here are quite nasty, but Radix is also quite strong too. Anyways, the idea is that you're put up to a trial and you have to go take down the king's trial grounds to be able to prove that you are worthy for the task of taking the Demon King on, and that you are not the Demon King yourself. I think the king looks really cool in the... It's a really good sprite. And they made him like an old man in the PSP version. He looks like a young, evil king. Alright. This is a rough start. I'll just say it's a rough start. Well, let's try to survive this. We do have Millie, who's going to heal us after the battle if we make it through. We're doing okay. Alright, that was good. Nobody died too. Alright. So we put the Emerald Ring on her, which is going to decrease her MP consumption. Now this is not a very long dungeon. And every time you enter a room, you have a little bit of a grace period in which you won't get into a fight. Alright, so did you see that little bit of lag? That was an encounter skip, and that was just fortunate that I got one. But yes, I skipped an encounter there, which is very cool. Alright, here we go. So I'm going to save the game. I'm going to do this little puzzle that you saw in the PSP version. Not exactly the same. The room layout's quite different, but it's the same concept. You just have to do some switches. But if you notice back there, I entered a screen transition at the same time I was going to get into a fight, and therefore I skipped the fight, which is kind of cool. It's really neat tech. Okay, so that's the puzzle. And we are entering the Peritton fight. This is where dreams are made, or dreams are broken, friends. Just make sure everyone's healed. I think we're good. Oh no, I need to set everyone to defensive. Alright, so this is one of two, as I call, super bosses of the speedrun. So, the general strategy is that you need to stun lock the boss. I got another encounter skip there, which is good. So I'm just going to be mostly quiet and regurgitating sounds as I get through this. Oh, so that's the great stink bomb missing. Alright, so that worked, which is good. Where did that go? What? Get out of here! Alright, I need that one to hit. Oh, that's totally missing. Yep, I don't even know where that went, dude. And it begins. Oh, nobody can use an item. This is great. So this is where half your party dies. This boss is ridiculous. Alright, let's keep it up. Need everybody to get revived. I'm gonna cue an attack on him. With a whisper. This is a long distance stink bomb. See how it goes. It missed. Not surprised. Long distance stink bombs are rarely in your favor. That one worked though. That was good. Alright, let's get over his... Oh, he's in a good position if I revive him. Oh, okay. Yo, come on. Runixus, hit him. That's what I'm talking about. Good stuff. Alright, here he is up. Everyone's got item used, so... Runixus? Anyone? Anyone? Nope. Great. Ooh, good. Good. This Whisper's almost dead. Oh, why are you attacking? Alright, so you set your characters not to attack, but of course they love to attack when they're not supposed to. Alright, so that character's down. This is looking promising, everyone. Oh, and I'm doing a lot of damage too. Boom! Boom! First try. Let's go! Let's go, let's go. One of two bosses down, everyone. Huge. Big plays. That's what we take those. Boom! Get out of my world, Peritton. Boom! That was a very, 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 very good fight. Woohoo! Very nice. It's one down. One down, one to go. That boss was causing me massive problems yesterday, so it's good stuff. Put him in the dumpster, I guess. Alright, so now that the king gives us his blessing, tells us that we have to meet with the kings of the 4 kingdoms. And we have to get their consent, and they have to give us all an individual hint as to how to get to the demon world. But yeah, so if you were sort of trying to pay attention to that fight, what was happening, and I apologize that I can't really explain while I'm doing it, because it's very, like, intense and you're doing a lot of stuff. But basically, Radix needs to clear out the 3 sub-boss enemies. Sub-what? 3 Whispers, which are like the minions. And he desperately needs to kill them quickly. While 2 other characters are rotating stink bombs, which are stun weapons, stun consumable items, I guess. And you stun lock the boss while you try to take care of the others. That seems like it would be a consistent strategy, but unfortunately the sub-enemies are inconsistent themselves, and they can start attacking the wrong characters, and then your strategy to stun lock the boss is no good. But luckily Radix was able to take them out. And another aspect of the fight, and this is admittedly something I don't totally understand, is that your damage value and that your attack power very heavily fluctuates for some reasons that I don't understand. Sometimes you'll do around 1200 damage a sword slice, and sometimes you'll do like 300. So clearly, you're doing a lot of damage. The battle will end quicker, but that was a very, very fast and good fight. I also didn't really use that many items, which is cool. It doesn't really matter, but it would only matter if I ran out during the fight. I can restock between fights. But the idea is that for every boss, we're gonna restore all of our items to 20. You can only handle 20 items in this game, which is unfortunate because when we get to the end game, you cannot buy anything after you beat the second to last boss. Third to last boss. After you beat Asmodeus, you can't go back and buy anything else, so anything that you buy before that fight is what you have for the rest of the game, which is unfortunate because you could use more stink bombs. You just have to make do without them. But we'll talk about that more when we get there. For now, what we're doing is we're gonna go visit the 4 kingdoms. the nice-bodied proprietress here. It's a very weird NPC to name. She's not important whatsoever, but she is nice-bodied. How's everyone's Sunday going? I've enjoyed this marathon. I'm gonna plug this marathon. Tri-Ace Marathon. We've been here all weekend on RPG Limit Break, playing throughout the chronology of Tri-Ace games. Get a mental ring there, which is very, very good. So yeah, we've been seeing from the entire lifespan of Tri-Ace. We don't have every specific game, but we have most games. And yeah, we get to see a large variety in each one of the titles. We're watching Star Ocean now, which is the first entry in this entire Tri-Ace lineage. But we went as far as Star Ocean 5. So we've been all over the place. Alright, so we go to Silver Ant. So we're gonna restore our goods. Mostly we're gonna come here to buy might potions. Then we're gonna talk to the king. Oh, wait. I'm getting my story trigger mixed up. Oh yeah, no, I'm not. You do talk to the king, and this king, I guess he likes us. So yeah, we're in Silver Ant. We're gonna use our... I'm actually not sure where Garrick used his Cinderella Vial, but we're gonna be using our Cinderella Vial here, because we don't have nearly as much money as the PSP run does, so we have to really scrape by with what we've got. I need enough money to buy restorative items throughout the rest of the game, but I can use this opportunity to buy at least a base level set of gear that it's going to take us through the rest of the game. You're still very much a glass cannon party, but whatever little help you can get in the defense department, we'll take it. Sort our items. Mental ring goes on marble. And we'll use the Cinderella Vial. I'm not sure Ronix is... Yeah, he did. Yeah, okay. So I need to do... I think they're all on defensive. Free fight? Yep. Alright, cool. Should do it. Fort miss? Fort miss. Alright, boys and girls. If you came for the big SUCC, the Succubus, look no further, because we are here! I'm gonna attempt to get through this once without saving after taking the dialogue. Should have done that before. Actually, you know what? I changed my mind. I'll go watch the dialogue and I'll come back and save. That is probably the smart thing to do. But yeah, this dungeon is very dangerous. And the boss is the most ridiculous boss I've fought in probably... I mean, Dragon Quest III has its moments where its bosses can be ridiculous. but I think Succubus takes the cake. Succubus just does whatever. She does monstrous amounts of damage, long range, short range, defends your attacks, moves around a lot, and teleports. Just, like, teleports into the ground so your bombs can just straight up miss. She's... If there was ever a boss that had a bag of proverbial tricks, it's this one. So I don't want to watch that cutscene again, so I will go out and save. Now, if you noticed before, I saved when I went into Mount Matox to get that good set of gear earlier, I was able to reset the game and sort of know where I was relatively on the encounter string. Now, this game, as I found out about 3 weeks ago, it can be consistent with your encounter value. However, the game, what am I trying to say? Oh yeah, the NPC movement, so all the NPCs moving around, influences your encounter rate, which is like one of the most ridiculous things I've heard or seen in a video game. Alright, so this is a little bit of a safety measure, but I'm going to be encounter canceling. All I want to do is make it to this particular room, and then I get 2 sets of gear, which is a extravagant sword and extravagant armor, of which I can only use in this dungeon. But now, we're just gonna fight the random fights and hope for the best. Alright, so these guys are probably the most dangerous. You can just see that he already did over half my health, and I'm already at 13 HP, so this is a good start. I almost just died there, and I'm dead, so that's this part of the game. So, we're going to load our save, and I'm glad that I saved after the dialogue, and we're going to do it again. And this is the influence of Succubus. You sort of get these feelers that her dungeon and she herself are just insane. So yeah, round 2. Now if I get into this fight before getting that armor, it's even less likely. But yeah, 2 times stage is by far the worst fight. By far. There are other fights that both grant more EXP and are way more safe. Now, unfortunately, you can't get this armor and then leave and save your progress, because the Chancellor will take it away from you. So it's part of the treasury, which is a bunch of crap. Let's try again. A better fight, it's still dangerous, because these guys can stone me, but... Okay, well, I defended, which is cool, but still definitely in danger. I can get this... Oh, okay, alright. Might be okay. Good stuff. Very scary. As you can see, I'm pretty much dead, but I didn't die. In fact, I'm alive. So that's what every fight is. Every fight with a stage in it is like that. Luckily, this dungeon is not super long, but I'll be getting into a fight fairly soon. Yep. Here we go! Thanks, game. Oh. Calm down, dude! Oh my goodness! And I'm stoned. Alright. Back to square one. I got turned to stone. That can happen. That'll get you, dude. Alright. Third try. Third try. There's ever... See, if you wanted consistency in your marathon, You shouldn't have been watching Star Ocean. Because, this is not the place for that. We're just gonna keep this up. We'll get through. This dungeon is not very long. It's just, clearly, you can get owned. Anytime you see the stage enemy, it's just nasty. Any other fight is pretty good, but, there's quite a few other fights too, but clearly I'm just seeing a lot of, stage. And yeah, those guys can, as you can see, turn you to stone, but if they're the only enemies on the field, they're pretty easy to deal with. But unfortunately, stage enemies just hit so hard. Okay. And they just keep showing up. Luckily, this is the easier of the fights for sure. This Funny Thief, if you remember, is from the beginning of the game. It doesn't really do much. Luckily, if stage is the only enemy here, it's fairly simple. Alright. Round 3. Oh, I thought I took damage. Apparently not. We're gonna make it through, everyone. Believe in me. I guess I can do this. It's a very safety measure. Basically, you're given a grace period every time you enter and leave a area. So I can use that to my advantage. I'll probably get into 2 to 3 more fights on the way down. Alright, this is a good fight. It's a good fight for quite a few reasons. You can see that they multiply up there, and the EXP they grant actually multiplies, so I'm gonna get a ton of EXP from this, which is cool. That's the type of fight you want to see. Yes, this is a fan translation. This is one of the earliest fan translations that got out there. And then there was an update to the fan translation to allow it to run on... flashcard. Alright, so we got the save point, which is really good. So now we don't have to do that entire first part again, and we're just going to come down here. And we do need to get to level 21. Again, this is the best fight to get. I'm going to give them a little bit of time to try to multiply, if I could. Let's see what this top one does. I'm going to run by him, try to let him attack. And he multiply, which is great. Did not stone me, which is even better. Alright, because it is a marathon, I will save again, but it's looking good. Probably two more fights. It's only 178 to 20. I need to learn the ability Twin Slash. And we get to see our good friend Double Stage. Oh, you see that? Double hit? We get double hits here, and I'm dead. Good thing I saved. I'm not even at Succubus, man. I already died 3 times. Did you see that double hit, though? It's great. It's great stuff. But yeah, for anybody who's wondering, this patch is obviously in English, but it doesn't change anything about the game. And it is effectively the exact same as playing the Japanese version. And I got stunned. Holy moly, dude. Alright. If I survive this, then we're gonna get a lot of EXP, and it's probably enough. Alright, alright, alright. Whew. We're good. And it is the moment you've all been waiting for. We have finally arrived. Marble Radishes. Really in this fight? Here is MP problems. 2. And get ready for a bloodbath. Let's go. Wait, did I save? I think I did. There's no encounters down here. I'm just triple checking. Yeah. Pretty sure, but let's just be safe. Alright, here we go. Here we go. We got a might potion, so we're gonna beef up Radix's attack, and then he's just gonna go turbo, and let's do it. Long distance stink bomb. Did not hit. I'm gonna try this. It's probably gonna hit this dude. Hit that dude. Okay, that's a lot of damage. What are you doing, Millie? What are you doing? Oh, nice. They're both down, which is good. Alright, actually, good start. What are you doing, Millie? Oh, she might be on autopilot, unfortunately. I wonder if they all are. You can just see how this balls melts her foes. I gotta wait for the frame. Got the frame. Right, this actually isn't going too poorly. Heal. That's a lot of damage. You see that long distance attack? She's just about to hit Millie. 0 frame transition. It's ridiculous, dude. Alright. What are you doing, Ornixus? Can you please do something, dude? Unbelievable, this guy. Just hanging out in battle. Look at this! 0 frames! I need to restore him. Okay. What are you doing, man? Alright. Again, I need to not have Succubus at the very edge of the fight. Oh, did you see how much damage that did? It's incredible. Stink bomb. Millie. Nope. Oh, they're both dead. Alright, this is where things get hairy. Good, good. So Radix went down. That was a great whiff. Outstanding. He just took 700 damage. Alright, please hit. That'd be great if you hit. Alright, someone's gonna die. Just want to see if I can get the item usage out for. Hopefully it's not Radix. Alright, that's fine. I think Radix is dead too. Okay. Blackberry. Long distance stink bomb. You can do it. You can do it. You can't do it! Alright, I definitely need another might motion. Might motion. Might potion. Come on, Renixis. Hook me up. Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. 1800. Close, boys. Resurrect. Okay. Wait for it. Onyxus, can you queue an attack? Oh yeah, he's pissed. I have to be very careful here. Can you please kill? Oh man, what are you doing, dude? She's so close. Alright, I'm gonna stink bomb him. Stink bomber. Alright, he's alive. This is such a mess. She's so close, dude. Alright, stink bomb. You can do this, Radix. There we go. The first try. Oh man, dude. It's over. Holy moly. First try, Peritton. First try, Succubus. We're in there, boys. We're in there, girls. That's it. G. Holy moly. Could not ask for anything more in a marathon. I may have died 4 times on the way down here, but we're doing it. We're doing it. Whew. Alright, now we have to get out of here, which is not free either. But the hard part is absolutely behind us. But yeah, I've been worried about that fight since the day I signed up for Star Ocean in the Tri-Ace Marathon. So we did it. Now we're moving on. Now the rest of the game isn't free, but it's much more manageable. I didn't lose sleep about the rest of the game. I could still die here, but I did save. So. Oh yeah, see? Dead. Rip. So we're not out of Succubus's reach yet, but we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Just checking my items, my HP. Alright, so this is the fight this is the reason that you get the St. Elmo's, because this attack is cured by St. Elmo. This unfortunately is a very slow fight because of these animations. It is not dangerous. We just need to get out of this dungeon and then we're home free. For quite a while, actually. The next major dungeon coming up is Barge Temple. It's a pretty cool dungeon. But the inner Parch Sanctum is where the random encounters can definitely kill you. Alright, I am going to use blackberries to cure, so they can speed up some fights. And you don't actually use any ins in this game, so all of your restoration is done through items. Yeah, it's just a matter of getting out of here and not getting turned to stone. Boom! Missing your fresh sages. Sadly, we don't. Fresh sage is not part of this Ratatouille. Alright, last floor. We can do this, boys. We can do this, girls. Maybe we can't, because these idiots... Alright, kill them first. Get them out of the way. Oh, God. Could you please attack? Alright. If we get him in the infinite, we're good. Can we get him in the infinite? It's usually the case. Stage. Stage. The stage is set! This is the one. This is the dream. I may have died 5 times, but not once on Suck. Alright, because this is a marathon, we're gonna pause, cancel our way out of this, and just be done with this dungeon. We're so close, I can feel it. Oh, baby. It's over. It's over. It's over. We're moving on. So Succubus is by far the worst fight in the game. The final two bosses, GA Reverse and Neo Reverse, are challenging in their own right, but they're not nearly as bad. Not even close. Good stuff. We're out of here. We are out of here. We are going to open this. World record run? No. World record run had about as good as a Peritton and a Succubus as I did without dying 5 times. And probably a better Succubus fight, just a faster one. Mine was relatively safe and managed it well. I mean, truthfully, there's not anybody else who plays this on the English version, but the Japanese run is quicker for text reasons, but it's also just a much more clean, optimized run. The best time out there. I may PB with this English run, considering I only have one English run, so that is a possibility. Wait. Oh, I missed. Well, maybe I'm not going to PB now. Shoot. That was dumb of me. I went too far. I was too excited about the Succubus. Last time I did this, I was thinking about GA, steak skewers and meat. Now I do it here live. I totally forgot that you need to go to Astral Kingdom. It's not that far back, I'm just an idiot. Alright. As soon as I saw the tropical, I was like, this isn't right. Well, maybe not PB anymore. On behalf of RPG Limit Break, thank you for the sub. RPG Jerkbird to you. CT. Yes. I wonder how many other channels in the future will have CT Meat as their one and only true FFZ emote. Alright, so the idea is that we need to go talk to the 4 kings. And I've talked to Portmas, which is the Moor Kingdom. Talked to Vaughn. Now I talked to Astral, and I already talked to Silverant. So that's all 4. But we have to go back and talk to the Vaughn Kingdom again, and he hooks you up. With the final ship that allows you to go to the Demon World Gate. Which version of Star Ocean is this? This is the Super Famicom version. This is a fan translation, which I'm only playing because this is a marathon. I want people to understand what's going on. But it was originally released in 1996 in Japan only, and it is the first entry in all of Star Ocean. Basically, nobody runs it in the West. So Tataroy. Alright, now we're gonna go back. Oh. Sad. That's the first, like, actual mistake I've made. As you can imagine, you go back and forth to these areas many, many times, so it's quite easy to get lost. Oops. And yes, this game had a PSP remake, which was the run right before this one. But it is a very, very different run. It's also a different game. I mean, it's the same, like, general progression, but the mechanics are way different. As far as I know, no other game in this series has this style. It's like every iteration past this took the base concept of what this was and just sort of like tweaked it and tried to improve it. The series now is much more real-time action-based. It's not that this isn't real-time, it's just sort of real-time. Alright, I want to go to Eckhart. It's real-time except when you press B, then it's not real-time. I love the St. Bernard just chilling in town. Alright, so we are going back to the Van Kingdom. We talked to the four kings. Now, oops. Now we're gonna do it live. We're gonna make our way to the demon world. Or Nixie just shows up, he's like, we're seeing the king. Deal with it. Parge Temple. That's where we're off to. So Parge Temple. Let me say this. This game is very curiously balanced. And the intent of this game is that there's not a ton of areas, but you sort of go about them in very non-linear, random ways. So that being said, some areas are much more dangerous than others at sort of random parts in the game. So we're about to go into Parge Temple, which I guess the game sort of expects you to go to much earlier. And it's a very simple dungeon. Simple being that the encounters are not difficult. But then once you get into the inner Parge Sanctum, those fights are really, really nasty. Alright, so this is what I was talking about before. I have a backup safety save to the right there, in case this doesn't work, but it should, because I followed the private actions correctly. It should be that when I leave here, Millie is going to come up to me. Yes, so we're good. She's going to give you a good luck charm. And she'll do it again. And 2 charms, Amomori, they're sort of like knockoff versions of Tri-Ace emblems. They are very, very, very good, and you need them. And they cost you nothing, you just have to be nice to Millie. So. You're up. I think we're good. So you are gonna go into Darl style. I'll explain the Darl style in a minute. Whoops, I didn't leave. So check this out. Charm, massive gains. Huge. So you're gonna get St. Elmo. You'll get the mental ring. Put a reverse doll on Marvel. And I think that's it, yes. So I used quite a few might potions back there, and quite a few of those too. So I need all the stink bombs back. Some of those. Do it. I think we're out of here. Yes, we are. This music is so harrowing. Tri-face. Tri-face emblems, yes. If you want the lore on the Tri-face, to the left we have the one and only Aether. I have no idea if I'm saying his name right. I apologize, but he is the glorious organizer of this marathon. And in the middle we have the veritable Rudix. We're not going here. And on the right we have the Fountain of Salt, as he is known. Tyrulia. Your three the three tri-faces of this marathon. Okay. So we're off to Parge Temple. And we're going the wrong way. Luckily there's no encounters. That one always trips me up, because I need to go left, but not there. Now I need to go left. So if you do certain story triggers correctly, you'll get Joshua at this point. But I believe it's only if you come here before you get the 4 emblems. Because I think the idea is that you help him open the way to Parge Temple. I also think if you already have Marvel in your party, you can't. Yeah. Actually, I don't know. I don't know that for sure. Anyways, we are here. So this temple, we will get into fights in here. But as I said before, they're fairly simple fights. You can't really do anything wrong. Just sort of attack. You can do some minor micromanaging. There's nothing much I have to worry about. But yeah, I mean, contrast to what you saw in the PSP version, Ronixus is actually a very, very, very good character. I'm not saying he's bad in PSP, I'm just saying he wasn't used. This is wrong. I got tripped up, but you actually have to just wait for... I guess I'll set them up back. You have to wait for these blue blobs, so I have to walk behind them anyways. This, and then you do an encounter skip here. Use this opportunity to do this. You get warped back. You get hit by the blue blob. Sarge when? It's kind of not great that she died. Because I definitely have a scarcity of resurrect potions, wherever they are. And as you can see there, even if you kill all enemies on the screen, if there are projectiles left over, they can kill you, for sure. Going the wrong way, because I'm an idiot. Now we go to the right. Sarge, when? You only now? Yes. Can I have a tri-face in chat? We're doing fine. Like I said, this dungeon isn't quite dangerous or anything, but unfortunately the encounters cannot be turned off, just like the rest of the game. That's right. Please follow everybody who is in this marathon. Everyone's done a great job so far. Well, my fate still has to be decided, but everybody before me certainly did. Great job. And yes, definitely check out Stars from 3. Accepted for the veritable RPG Limit Break run. Outstanding. Alright, we're almost through this dungeon, folks. Get a save point here. Now you do fight a boss of this area, but this is what I was talking about, how the game isn't very linearly balanced, because it's not really a linear game. So this boss... It's a long-winded way of saying that this boss is free. What the heck is that thing? Wolf shape. So Iria can die here, and she's probably just about to. But you also do a ton of damage to everybody. I'm gonna try to rescue her if I can. She goes down. Actually, Ronix is about to go down too. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's not... I mean, the only part of it that's really a problem is that this next dungeon certainly stresses your resurrection potion counter. So, now we have to be careful. Alright. The only thing I have to worry about that boss is killing them off screen. It's soft lock the game. That's not the case. Now you can run back and save, but we're gonna hope for the best. Alright, so now we're in Inner Part Sanctum. This is the most dangerous random encounters in the game besides the final area, but we're going to be doing something about the final area to make it less dangerous. There are certain encounters in here that, with our current setup, is just very difficult to deal with. And it's mostly because Radix's sword does not deal damage to certain enemies in here with a regular attack. But unfortunately, this game doesn't give you too many tools to be able to get close to enemies without using a physical attack. Using a physical attack is by far the quickest way to get close to an enemy. A lot of these floors actually do not have random encounters like this one. This room does. I'm gonna buffer through this, but the room outside does not. Basically, I'm very close to a save point, so I'm gonna try to make it to that. So like this does not have random encounters. Pretty sure. Then this room does. So I'm gonna be very safe here, because I'm very close to a save point. I'd like to make it there. But yeah, you can, if you whip out the RAM watch while you're playing on an emulator, you can see which areas have random encounters, which ones don't. Or in practice, you can just straight up run around in certain areas and see that you won't get into fights. Like this floor has no encounters, but this one definitely does. We're probably gonna start fighting stuff. Yep, right about now. Alright, so this is one of those terrible enemies I was just talking about. I very well can die here. Ha! Yeah, you know, like, everyone's dead. Alright, just resetting. So there's some quote-unquote safety stuff you can do. Basically what I'm gonna do is save the game, which seems like a random thing to do, but it influences the RNG in such a way that hopefully you can skip some fights. Alright, so that's a good fight. That's what I want to see is the first fight if I do that setup that I just did. I rarely see him use that move. But yeah, this is by far where the encounters go the worst. You can just see how strong those enemies are. Which is why the fastest time of this run is just incredible. It basically just doesn't get into any bad fights. Alright, so I see him coming up. If you get a setup going, you can certainly do this fight, but it's never free. Alright, that might be good enough for me to get a few more hits in. Nope, I got stunned. That's cool. Alright. This is not looking good. See this? This damage ticking? You just take 1,000,000 damage every tick. Yep. Alright, we're dead. Let's try again. This is the last, like, actually nasty, inconsistent part of the run. Space-Time Factory, or, sorry, Space-Time Lab is way less inconsistent. It's also this particular floor, too, that there's not much you can do about it. Just have to grit your teeth and get through it. And we'll get through it. There's just certain encounters that are just ridiculous. Like this one. So it's either the teal or the blue guys are just awful. These are less of a pain, but they're definitely a pain. And I can easily do that too. They just do so much. Yep, I'm dead here too. Just have patience with me, everybody. Get through this. So, I guess this is a good time to explain why certain things can't be consistently manipulated. Because the way it works is that you can reset the console and have... Well, the police are out. You can reset the console and... Let's see what this is. Alright, this is a good fight. This is the type of fight we want to see. So you can reset the console, and you can get certain encounter values to be set for your first fight. And if you use particular methods to be able to skip the encounters, you can get by without fighting them. Okay? Sounds pretty simple. However, the problem is that once you get into a fight, the randomness of that value gets sort of jumbled around and is no longer consistent. So, the short explanation is that if you skip encounters by using that transition screen method, which you'll see way later, then it's not a problem. But right now, I'm at the mercy of RNG for every one of these fights because it's different every time, basically. I really would like you to heal yourselves so you die. And another thing, I want to be using Rift Wave as much as I can, because I will learn an ability called Phoenix Wave, which is a massively, massively strong attack. And that's why I'm leveling up stuff just like this. Every time I level up, I want to dump points into Idarl's skill. Or, sorry, Idarl's style. Oops. What that does is boost my chances of... oops. Of learning that skill. At level 10, it's about, like, a 3% chance of every time I use it of learning. It's at level 8 now, so I think that's 2%. I'm gonna be very cautious because I don't wanna... I don't wanna hold up the marathon, so... probably take another fight, but any one of these fights can just be a failed attempt too. So why don't we just suck it up and get through this? I don't love doing this, but I also don't want to get into another nasty fight. Plus, once I get back to the upper area, I can use the save point again. And like, if I get into a fight here, it's not the end of the world, which I might, because basically this method works better in some areas than others. And when you're on little stairs like that, it actually kind of gets messed up, just like that. And here we go. Let's just hope for the best here. I'm gonna use some backup stink bombs. Let's see if Phoenix can do something for me. He goes down. Oh, this might be it. You should see the murder that comes out of these guys. It's ridiculous. If you could get a might potion off, that'd be awesome. Alright, I'm gonna take a minute up here to heal him. Alright, it's all Radix now. Alright. I apologize, everyone. This is a very frustrating floor. I will very safely turtle it from here, just to get through this. Because I've been here for about 6 minutes. It's just the way it goes sometimes. Some of these fights are just ridiculous. But I guess if, something was gonna get us, it wasn't Succubus, it was gonna be here. It's really just this floor, too. Because once you get through this, it's not so bad. So I'll just turtle my way through the rest of this. The thing is, if you're going for the best possible outcome, you do want to level up on the stuff, because you're trying to get that ability that I was talking about before. But we can just do this. Play it very safe. The way it works is that... Think of it this way, like, think of it as if I get out of battle and the value is set to 50. And every time I take steps, ordinarily, it decreases by, say, 1 every, I don't know, like 3 steps, right? So that means it's set as some arbitrary value at the end of the fight, and I'm approaching a next fight. So if I don't advance that encounter, which is what I'm doing when I'm doing this method right here, it means that I'm actually not gonna get into that fight. But it also means that I have a little bit of leeway, so when I was talking about the steps there, where it gets tripped up and it doesn't exactly work the way, I still have a little bit of leniency, and it's not just pure randomness as to when I get into a fight. It's random what the initial value is set to. It's not random as to when I'm gonna get into the fight after that. So yeah, for the marathon's sake, I'm just gonna turtle it and get through this. It's usually not this bad, and this is just pretty nasty luck with some of these fights. You can just see the ridiculous damage output of those blue guys. It is what it is. And it's really just this floor. I mean, we do have to come back to this floor one time later, but there's less steps because we go a different path. This is the floor that got me in my English PV as well. And I was, as much as I would like to have a consistent way to get through here, the answer is that there really isn't one because of the way encounters work. Luckily, we were graced with a nice fight here. These are really good fights to get, these specific ones. Because I do want to get as many attempts to get this Rift Wave upgrade as I can. I'm not surprised that he went down. But we're fine. She died too. Come on, Marvel, stop moving. Alright, well, Yuri's not getting experience. Rip. So yeah, like I said, every chance, or every fight I get into just has a chance of learning that skill every time I get to use Rift Wave. So let's just get through this floor, sort of at a very safe point. But yeah, this took way too long to get through. We just play very safe. Get back to the save point, and then we can progress this dungeon. Just some of these fights are just ridiculous. Anything with those flak forms. The orange flak forms are fine. It's the blue ones and the teal ones that are just ridiculous. And those teal ones always ambush you too. Which really, it's not like a huge problem when things ambush you, it's just very weird positioning on all your characters. We're almost there. Almost there, everybody. Almost there. I really don't want to be doing this, but it is a marathon. I don't want to hold it up anymore. But some of the fights are just nasty, man. Okay. We still have a long ways to go in this dungeon, but that is the worst floor by far. 6 minutes later in-game time, real time probably like 12. I'm generally not going to be playing the rest of the dungeon like that. We shouldn't have to. We're gonna grab some security cards. Now we're gonna go all the way back to the top of the dungeon. Because we need 2 sets of security cards to get to the top. It's a pretty confusing dungeon, honestly. No encounters here. You don't have to do much at the beginning, but basically you come down, hit this switch. Oh shoot. You hit the switch on the next floor. You have to have the security card in order to do that. The next floor. Alright, boys. This could be another doozy. It would be cool if Ronixes didn't choose an attack to kill them. That'd be awesome. Okay. Anybody got item? Nope. Alright. This looks bad, but we're doing okay. So he died, but 2 of them died. Just need these 2 not to die right away. Okay, good. You can revive Radix with this, and she can attack. Okay. Doesn't matter, somebody survived. It's ridiculous, so that's what a good fight looks like against those. Multiple characters dead. But yeah. That's what a good fight looks like. Blackberry. Yeah, this screams, I know. Brutal. People getting brutally murdered. Especially Millie. Her screech is pretty harrowing. Alright. It's this floor and then another floor that looks like this that we could get into a fight. And then we get a save point again. This is also this is the longest dungeon by far. Alright, so we survived one of those nasty blue fights. The blue spheres, if you will. Now we go all the way back to this hellish floor. But I'm just gonna suck it up and get through this floor. If I get into a bad fight, we'll just deal with it. This is a good fight, so we're gonna deal with this too. So I'm trying to get this Phoenix Wave ability, but if I don't, it's not the end of the world, it's just... it makes the last stretch of the game much, much simpler. You can deal without it, but... of course the record gets it. Of course. Just a pure random chance every time I use Rift Wave. I'm actually not sure if you get into fights here. I'm pretty sure you do not. This is a massive map. Yeah, that's right, you don't. And then this is the final floor, which you definitely can get fights here. So you see one more. This is a good fight to get. This is good for many reasons. I'm gonna try to use my Rift Wave and not attack it too aggressively with the others. I'm actually doing quite well on items. I'm trying to use this move as much as I can to try to get that move I was talking about. The upgraded version. So it's okay if these guys are dying. Well, now it's looking a little not as good, but okay. Okay. So that should be the last fight here. That was a very rough dungeon, and that was a marathon reality check. Just say that. We're back. That dungeon is over. We really only have one dungeon left. Well, no, sorry, two dungeons. But one is relatively simple. We are making our way through. So yeah, the two really nasty bosses of this game went really well, but this dungeon did not go so great. But that, I mean, I'm not surprised by that. Alright. I get to take a quick break. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. How's everyone doing on this fine Sunday? Watching the Tri-Ace Marathon. We have a few games left. After this, we'll be having Valkyrie Profile Covenant of the Plume. Rarely seen tactical RPG. CRC number 1's Grand Glory game. So check that out. And then of course, Resonance of Fate. Resonance of Fate. Great King Osmodeus. It's gonna pulverize this poor little town. I believe it's called Dolce. It's spirit bombed in the heavens. Did the audio die? No, it should be okay. Let me know if you don't hear audio now. I have very clear signal coming. Oh yeah, the Inner Sanctum cutscene, yeah, that does not. All right, we're out of here, out of this horrible dungeon. Now we're gonna go to Silverant. We're gonna do our last set of shopping. And yeah, so we're gonna go off to the Dark World fairly soon. It's very funny the way they did snow movement. I think they just introduced lag frames to the game. Oh, I do need to save. But I'll do it after this. Yeah, these graphics look terrible. Just awful. Yep. Totally agree. Okay. We're good on those. Definitely these. Yeah, I only use 4, which is great. Come on, kid. And we are off to fight Crimson Shield. Yes. So this is going to be our nice fight. Well, this too will be our opportunity to try to use some Rift Wave again. I'm trying to learn this Phoenix Wave. I have a strict % chance every time I use it to potentially learn a new ability. Timed out. That's great. Doesn't look like I'm learning it soon, if ever. It's a very much a nice to have. Alright, so Renixis learned Ray, which actually is quite good. I'm gonna be using Rift Wave a lot on the next 2 bosses, which are basically the same guy. I think the second one has slightly better stats, but it's really not much different. So this is another example of sort of how the game is strangely balanced, because Succubus is clearly a boss that shows up for this guy, but Succubus is way harder than this guy. Yeah, I mean, to me this game is beautiful. So I'm going to be using this ability a lot. I'm not really attacking with the others manually, so I'm trying to get the skill up. So if he dies off screen, this is probably going to soft lock. It might happen. Need you to come over, buddy. I think it's gonna happen. Alright, calm down, Ilya. Use a potion. She dies. It's fine. I just have to be careful here. Yep, there it is. That's what I was worried about. Alright, let's do it again. So that's a very nasty side effect of having to play this game in English. Which is why my estimate is fairly safe. Because if that happens, he will soft lock your game. So that's why I would never play this English RTA seriously. We're gonna go back and do that boss again. But yeah, that's just the byproduct, unfortunately, of Oh, I can get stoned here too. This is a good opportunity for me to keep trying to learn the ability that I want, though. So, even though this fight is really messy right now. Oh, I reset very quickly, but yeah, the game crashed. Effectively. I do want to be fairly conservative with my items, because I'm actually not going to get any more for the rest of the game. That was just unfortunate with that boss. He's very much not being cooperative. Usually, if they get off screen, they come back on screen pretty quickly, because most of your enemy, most of your party, hangs out on screen. But for some reason, he was just hanging out. I can do this as a safety measure. I'll turn everybody's attack off, and I'll just attack the Radix. It's a very weird glitch. Bug. Probably bug. Because it doesn't happen in the original. But I'll do this. I got tri-ace, yeah. Again, like, I really do want to learn this skill to try to finish this game out, so... I will use a might potion on him. As you can see, I'm sort of just hanging out with the others. Which is fine, because I do want to use this too. And the thing is, like, they do counterattack now and then, which is fine. That's only when they get close. It's too bad. That was too close? What? Oh my god. Now I'm getting tri-ace. Dude. That was not even close, dude. Get out of here. Alright, I'm doing save file setup. Wow, dude. I'm getting boned. Get out of here. So I open and close the save menu 3 times, which is gonna mean that I shouldn't get in. Well, never mind. I need to fight with the Stropers. Watch out for the Stropers, dude. Oh, I gotta set my characters off. Now it's a lot of multiplying. It's fine. I mean, it's spending a lot of time, but it's funny because that's a very simple, not dangerous fight. But he keeps dying. Radix? Oh yeah, Radix is stone. This is great. Okay. We're just gonna be very sensitive around this boss, okay? Everyone keep your quiet voices on. We're just gonna be very cautious. Oh, I'm still stoned. That's great. Okay, we can do this. We can get by this easy boss. I left them on attack. I'm just gonna kill him quickly and zone him better. Actually, I went for that. But all these things you see sort of going wrong is kind of why I didn't run this game for so long. And that's why the estimate is fairly liberal. It's just a very, kind of crazy game. Very funny. Why would you run up there, dude? Should be relatively safe where he is now. Just keep moving him that way. Be fine. Keep him in the middle. I mean, he does do a lot of damage, but it's also not really scary. We have to fight basically a counter clone of him right after this. Effectively the same exact. Okay. 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 One down. Now we have to do the exact same thing. Not hard to beat this guy, it's just a matter of positioning. The Bladeless Sword. Yes. Do you know about the lore of the Bladeless Sword? Nobody in our party does, but Iria is smart enough to figure it out. Alright, so let's do it again. So this is Fia. You don't get as a party member, but she does show up. Del Garcia. Apparently, Fia is a very well-loved character of this game. Wow. Murder fest. It's okay. I'll just stink bomb him. You can use a... Yep, alright. It should be good. Okay. Okay. Alright, everybody. There's only one more boss we have to worry about killing off-screen, which is G.A. Revorse, penultimate boss. We did it. We are entering the final second to last dungeon. Again, I'm not having the greatest luck trying to learn this skill that I'd like to, but it is unfortunately just a pure random chance. I like that reverb, you hear that? It's great. So this is our last time to go shopping. Means we're loading up on everything. Okay. I guess I'll save. You don't see fights in the dark world, but let's not mess around at this point. This game is something else. It actually was going very, very smoothly after Succubus, but Parge Temple went kind of nasty, and so did that. He told me I was going to die twice, too. Or lose the setup twice to Crimson Shield. Wouldn't have believed you. Chun-Li's hard. Alright, so we're gonna go back to the Dark World, and then we've got all of the items that we could possibly buy, and that's gonna be what we get for the rest of the game. So we have to be fairly conservative, but you do get some blackberry and blueberry drops along the way, so. And I'm going the wrong way. It's cool. Something about this area that gets me. Yeah. So, I mean, I shouldn't see fights in this area. Your level should be consistent. No. Okay. Now we get a save point here. I'm gonna level this up as much as I can, which is one more. And then Marble should have. She's not high enough. No, she does. And we're off. Yeah, so again, while I'm in this dungeon, I'm gonna be trying to learn Phoenix Wave, but it's not the end of the world if I don't. Boss of this area is Osmodeus. We do have a sub-boss that we're going to take out quickly. I'm actually going to equip that now. I should have done that before. I have a new ability called Spirit Blast, which is actually very, very good. It's sort of like this mid-distance version of Iria's Qigong Palm, and it can do some mild stun, which is really good. You'll see it against the next mini boss. Let's get rid of this. We're gonna set it to everything. So that means that if I'm short distance, I can get it with L. Or if I'm long distance, I can use L or R. Trying to use specific abilities is very much dependent on how close or far range you are. And it can be tough. Try to set up things properly. Generally what you do is you attack to get in range, and then that's how you get to use a short or long distance attack. So that's one of the longer screens. Alright, this is actually a good fight to get. Second. Ah, we got it! We did it, everybody. This is what I was worried about. This is what we got. So as long as we get through this fight, we're gonna be good. As long as we get through this fight. Healing Ray, it's cool. You just see that Force Sword that I got from the Fear cutscene, the raw damage that comes out. Great job, Iria. Revived and you immediately die. Alright, good stuff. Good stuff. Got Phoenix Wave. So we can stop talking about it every fight. Oh, I should set that too. Yes. So it definitely costs a lot more, but it does way more damage. And what's cool about this is that if you get it as early as I just did, you can use it against Asmodeus to perhaps skip one of his forms. These guys... You can just see the raw damage from this thing, it's great. Alright, cool. This is looking good. Good stuff, I'm glad Iria lived. Again, I only have 18 resurrect potions because I used 2 for the rest of the game, so I'm trying to not use them, but, you know, if she dies, I need her to try to get some experience points. Alright, this is the last... I shouldn't say last. It's one of the last long screens that's behind us. We're gonna get a save point now. We got Spirit Blast on, we're healed, so we can go. Now we're gonna fight Dark Eye. It's a fairly simple fight. This is where you're gonna see the Spirit Blast that I was talking about a little bit before. Pretty good. But it sort of depends on where I am position-wise, because I can use Phoenix Wave to take out the minions. So the idea, pretty much from here on out, is that I'm going to use Might Potions on every fight. That's what I've been doing for a while, but it very much helps. Because really, I mean, Radix is damage dealer. And Ronix definitely does damage too, and to a lesser degree the other two as well. So this is Asmodeus. Sadly, he does not have blue hair. He has blonde hair, just like most other characters. Death Corona. So this is really the strat. Just let Radix do the business. Takes a death, which isn't great, but as long as it doesn't die right here. Alright. Good joke. Good joke. I do not want to use stink bombs. How do we do this? Oh, she's moving. Oh, that's great. Need to use another might potion. I have plenty. Okay. I do have to worry about him being on screen. So that worked out nicely. Good stuff. Good stuff. We're getting there, boys. We got 3 more bosses in this game. So Asmodeus is the bearermost of this game. The game makes you think that he's the last boss. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Yeah, nobody in the West other than me plays this. I've only done 1 run in English, so... Yeah. Alright, this boss... I am going to use some stink bombs, but I don't want to use many stink bombs. This guy can do a ton of damage, so I have to be careful. But he has 4 phases. And look how nasty he looks compared to his modern counterpart. Oh, I'm definitely getting hit, aren't I? Alright, that should do it. So now I have to wait for the specific frame that he opens his eye. Go. So I did get hit, unfortunately. There isn't much I can do, because... As you saw, I waited for the specific frame, but if I can get him here... Now what you do is you move over... And he's in his final phase now. But the game gets kind of tricked. Yeah, nice. That's a good fight. The game gets tricked when you move Radix behind him, because he just keeps aiming for Radix, but Radix is behind him, so he just keeps firing forward and he won't turn around, because he's such a big enemy. And that's it. Anyways, beat the weirdo. Giant, like, eyeball stomach. Just like Necrosaro. Took him down. He's one of the easier bosses, for sure. He does do a lot of damage. You saw that he did those, he lobbed those orbs at me, and they did like 1100 damage each. But only one of them landed. Again, like, I gotta be careful with the amount of stink bombs I have, because in order to do the final boss, I need to basically stun lock him the entire time. Now that I have Phoenix Wave, it should be very much safer fight. And yeah, so we got 2 fights left. We got a little bit of cutscene waiting here, but this final dungeon, I'm going to be setting up save file, not save file. I'm going to be saving, resetting, and then doing a consistent setup to attempt to skip encounters. So yeah. We are... Are we at endgame yet? Yes, we are. It's the final stretch. The game kind of makes you think that it's over, but it's not over. It's not over. And this is the Triace Marathon. You're rewatching two more runs after this? Yes. Let me get my facts straight. Yes. Watching Covenant of the Plume, Valkyrie Profile after this. And then you'll be watching the one and only Tide playing Resonance of Fate. Yeah, the plot is that we... Alright, so here's what happened. Ordinarily, in history, Farget's soldiers showed up and they killed Asmodeus. But what happened in this history is that when you went to go back and fight Asmodeus, all you really wanted to do was get his serum and then get out of there. But what ended up happening was that Farget's soldiers did not kill him, because they saw that you arrived and then they escaped. But history plays out that Asmodeus was dead, so you had to kill him instead. But when you do that, you get the serum from his blood, and you go to the future, and then you're able to cure your friend Dorn here. But then you find out from Onyxus and Admiral Baze that the dude is still at large. And the dude is G.A. Revorse, the mastermind behind the stoning of Broke. But yes, you are back in the future now. Or rather, the present. Because most of the game takes place in the past. So yeah, the end area, basically all of the fights in the final dungeon can very, very easily kill you. You can survive a few of them, but there's a pretty high likelihood that you'll die. And you want to save your items for the final boss, so we're going to be doing everything we can to skip fights. but there are 2 fights as soon as we get into Fargate that are mandatory. Alright, so Ronixis and Iria show up and ask you to come with them. Back to the Phoenix. So we don't really understand what's up, but find our old companions, of which we have exactly 1. Zeus was not happy with us. And then you show up here, and then you're basically just set loose, and you gotta figure stuff out. Now, very nicely, this game does not heal you after the last boss, which is ridiculous. They give you a heal before the final boss, but not after. So it's a good way to just, like, straight up wipe. I gotta do this. Actually, that's fine. Okay. How did they know we were coming? So Ronixis is going to be on raid duty. That is all he's going to do. Now, these soldiers are by far the most dangerous part ordinarily, but there are instances in which these side dudes go into this, like, whirlwind attack, and then it's ridiculous. I'm not doing it now, which is good. Alright, that fight went really well, but unfortunately, we get back-to-back fights right after this, so... I'm gonna try to heal her a little bit, and team with you. Did that work? It did. Okay, good. That was a really good first fight. Let's see how the second fight goes. I'm also doing really well on levels, so it's good. How many might potions do I have? 8. So that sword attack that's out right now will probably kill Iria and... Yep. It's actually very fortunate that it didn't hit Radix twice. Whoa, did you see that knockback? Wow. That knockback, I felt that from my chair, dude. Alright, good fight, good fight. GG. Okay, alright. So no more random encounters, ideally. Might get into one. We got a Mega Flare Bomb. So we gotta get to this final dungeon, then we got 2 more bosses, and then we're done. Then we're done. So we're making our way through. So what happens is you get captured by Fargate. They don't really know who you are or why you're here. You have 8 slots, potentially, if you have 8 party members. Now, in the PSP version, there's some stuff that happens where Millie gets captured, you run around and go rescue her and talk to other people. None of that happens here. You get rescued by... What's her name? Novelle? Evina. Yes. And apparently she knew you, or she figured out that you were here. So yeah, there's no towns, there's no shops, there's no anything. It's pretty messed up that the game does this, but it basically strands you here. You can't do anything about it. It does give you a free heal station. which I guess you would have to have, or else you would just be screwed. But I guess they want you to just power level here. So yeah, Avina helped make GA Revorce, but then found out that he was for nefarious purposes to destroy Earth. So then she formed the counter resistance, and she's on our side, apparently. But their insanity was written into GA's instincts, destructive genes towards Earth. Okay. No encounters on this floor, and then we're gonna do safety save. Not safety save, we're gonna do a save setup. Actually, I'm gonna do that again. Alright, that should be the right window. So you're going to be seeing counter skips if this goes correctly. I'll show you when they come up, what they look like. Look at the reflex here, which is great armor for Radix. Meteor Swarm is for Ronix. Oops. Alright, so there's no encounters on this floor. To the left here. Okay, so this is where you'll probably start to see counter skips. So I'm going to do this until I get to the next area, and then what I need to do is go in and out of this door quickly after letting it load for a second. If we do it right, we'll see we can counter lag the game. That was a little far to get. I can do it this way. Should be coming very soon. You just have to be very cautious about it. You really just don't want to see a fight down here. There it is. Alright, so you see that palpable lag? That is an encounter skip. So I'm going to do this to get to the rest of this floor. And then when I get to the next area, there's no encounters here, and then there are in this next room, so I'm going to do another skip. This might take a few tries. But basically, I'm very slowly incrementing the value, and doing it in such a window that I get into the fight when I transition the screen. You have to be very cautious, because if you go too far, then you get into the fight, and then you're probably dead. Should be very soon now. Alright, so watch. Now I go up, and I'm going to get into another skip right here. And then I get into this, not this room, but the next one. It's going to be very soon. We're going to do another one real quick. One more. Be very cautious about this one. There it is. Okay. So, we're getting close. Basically now I need to buffer my way to the next save point. I have a little bit of leniency, but not much. I'm gonna do this for the next two rooms. Now, because the encounter rate in this area is so high, I'm actually advancing it a little bit as I walk through here. But I just need to do it enough so that I don't get into a fight. We're almost safe, actually. There's no fights here. There's no fights here. One more room, and then we get a save point. So we have to be very strict here. So we got a save point, which means that we don't have to do any of that again, which is good. First try is really nice there. That can go much worse. And it seems like a convoluted setup, but it's actually quite nice because, like I said before, when you open the save menu, it resets, not resets, it influences part of the way randomness is drawn for the battles. So it sets us up in a position where we can do that sort of skip again. There's no fights in here. No fights in here. And then we're gonna buffer our way through this room. If you buffer your way through this room and the start of next, you can get up the stairs and then into the next save point. And then you're good. We're almost there. Alright, we should be okay. Alright, cool. We did it. We did it correctly. We're just gonna do a last blackberry check. I think we're good. Yeah, we didn't get any fights. Everybody's on protect. Yep, 3 fights, correct. I do have the possibility of getting into a fight. Oh, actually, I'm gonna do this. And I think, yeah, we're good. Okay. Alright, here we go. I can get into a fight on this screen. I did not, which is cool. Here we go. Here we go. Now, trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. Should be good. Yep. Yeah, so GA is a boss that I do need to kill in the middle of the screen, or else I'll soft lock. But we actually don't use stink bombs against him, and we just sort of overpower him with a lot of attacks to try to stun him. He is a strange kind of scary, because he does a lot of standing around and taunting you, but he can deal like 3,500 damage, which kills anybody. Also, his laugh at the beginning is amazing. Alright, so we're gonna might potion up. Yep, there he goes. Killing the dude that I just buffed too. Kill him again. Killing him again! And her too. This is going great. It does a lot of like powering up though, so. Just getting murdered right now. Usually he's not this active. This might be good. Oh my god, Radix doesn't have a chance against this guy. Right, if this goes too much longer, I'm probably just gonna cut my losses. Yeah, so he does this Mirage attack. Would you please attack me? Holy moly, thank you. There's some damage. Alright, yeah. We're doing. I really do want everybody alive at the end of this too. Oh, you're dead again. That's cool. Really can't agree with any. Alright, I'm gonna use a stink bomb with her on the frame that he gets out of this. Okay. Yeah, one should be fine. Oh, you did not just... So ideally, nobody should kill. Or be killed on the last. Come on, Radix, get up! Get up! Okay. Alright, we might have a chance. I've got one Resurrect, and I got one boss to take down. But that actually... We turned that around, because that went from... deep in the dumpster. Alright, man. We'll see ya. So the way this last boss works is that you use, like many other bosses, Radix to overpower him, but I'm just straight stink bombing him. That's all I'm doing. I got 2 characters using stink bombs left and right. I got 1 character boosting Radix, and then we're just Phoenix Wave to freedom, as my notes say. Hey, man. Alright, here we go. This music is great, too. Be very careful. You gotta attack off very quickly, so this might be... Yep! This is a terrible, terrible omen. Unfriggin' real. That was 0 frames. There was not 1 frame of leeway. Yeah, I've got no more. I love that sound, by the way. There we go. Time. It's over. Wipe your hands clean. Done with this. Woohoo! There was so... Those 2 fights just threw it all at you, dude. Holy moly. Did you see that? It was like the first 3 frames. He did 1200 damage to the first 2 characters. Holy moly, dude. What a game. What a game. We did it. And we're back on schedule. That's what's up. I probably won't be playing this game for a while.